Thank you for watching this Last Mile Profits video.
Looks like Mr. Křetínský is out to win hearts and minds at Royal Mail. To find out more, take a look at this Last Mile Profits video. Experience the future of convenience with modern Expo parcel lockers. Cutting-edge innovations that bring parcel delivery to a fundamentally new level. Gary, it's been at least 3 or 4 videos since we've talked about Royal Mail. So I reckon it's time we come back to that really hot topic.
I'm starting to miss it, to be honest.
Well, listen, something new. Apparently, Mr. Křetínský is now making an offer to buy the employees' shares. I've no idea how many. I'd imagine there's quite a lot. Do you have any idea how many there are?
Around 5% of the shares still sit in the hands of employees, or it's that kind of number. It might be 4, it might be 6, it might be 3. It's that
significant. So there's a significant number of shares. Obviously, for the employees who might sell them, I'd imagine that it's an attractive option, and it's part of the process of securing control and, should we say, peaceful long-term control for Mr. Křetínský.
I think it's a hearts and minds play. Personally, if you think about it, you've got 120,000 workforce. Many of them for the first time in their careers. Many people have only ever worked at Royal Mail. A lot of my colleagues, when I worked at Royal Mail, were what we call affectionately called lifers. You know, they'd come in as graduates, as apprentices, as trainees, as temps, and become part of the furniture. And they've been there for a long time. So they finally got to own a part of the beast. So a lot of people have hung on to these shares as with a true sense of pride and ownership. So if you are going to get a new owner and you are going to want these people on side, I think it's a class move, is to reassure them that they're going to get the full value and there's going to be no hassle.
Especially, Gary, as they've been delicately speaking ups and downs with the value of the shares. I'll tell you why I know, because privatisation, I bought I can't remember what it was, £150 worth or whatever it was you could buy. And from a peak a couple of months afterwards,
£6.50 was the peak.
It's been nowhere near to that. I can understand where this is coming from. Important point. Thursday, the UK has an election. Unfortunately, because you may not know this, but even if you have a British passport, if you've been living out of the UK, I think for more than 5 years, you cannot vote. So I will not be able to vote, unfortunately. You will, though.
I've actually had to pass my vote to my wife as a proxy. She's now got the privilege of casting 2 votes, and I trust her to do the right thing. Look, the time of recording, the election's 2 days away. By the time you're watching this, more than likely, almost certainly, the UK will have a Labour government. Labour government has always stood against, or the Labour Party has always stood against privatisation and been pro-nationalisation. So under Corbyn, if they got in 2016, 2019, they would have renationalised all the utilities, renationalised all the water, the power, the electric, and they definitely would have dragged Royal Mail back into public ownership. The trouble is, they can't afford it. It would cost billions and billions to buy the shares back in all of these companies. And the only people those pockets will be lining will be the people that have invested in them. So politically, it might be what they would like to do, but in reality, it's going to prove to be an impossibility to do it.
I mean, I'd add one thing that, and I'm not sure how far it's gone at this moment. It's because it may well be that it's gone so far that actually it would require not just an awful lot of money, but legal action and issues, etc. And also one other important thing, the credibility of the UK as a safe haven for investment could be questioned if at this very, very late stage, the government decided to intervene, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think the process that's still left to go through is this kind of securities, worthiness to own, if you like, or try to, a right to own. But Křetínský went through that when he breached a certain percentage of ownership anyway. He's already the single largest shareholder, and he had to be vetted, and all of his credentials were verified at that point. This process is exactly the same. So there would have to be a legislative change or a very big political act to stand in the way of this. It's a publicly traded business. If the shareholders agree, then he buys all the shares, he takes control. If he gets to 85%, the other shares are automatically have to be sold to his. So it might be 75. So he'll be working in the background to get to that 25% pledge point anyway. So I think the mood in the room is it's a done deal. It could take several more months to go through. It could be done in January. The offer expires in August of next year. So it's not the burning platform that you would imagine. There's a process to go through, and the process is defined, but the timescale for the process isn't. So it will take a while, but I think it's a done deal, personally.
Well, honestly, I tend to agree at this moment. And, the other thing, Keir Starmer's going to have enough other issues to worry about without opening up the Pandora's box here. So I tend to agree that yes, it's going to have to be closed. Let's hope that Křetínský and his team, from whom at least I know one person who's a very smart cookie, make a good job out of it. Because I think, in the interests of all of the posties, the UK economy overall, but also an institution that's really important in the UK, that it works. Let's see. I don't know. Have you got final thought?
My only other final thought was, other postal markets are nowhere near as deregulated or as open as the UK. Deregulation was meant to be a European-wide thing. Very few posts have less than a complete dominance on mail in their home market. So if they were thinking about deregulation and were thinking about change of ownership, maybe this will make governments even more nervous. If you were thinking about privatising the post to drive out efficiency or make some short-term revenue for a government, this is what the end game looks like. Is it going to encourage more posts to deregulate or fewer? And I think the answer is fewer.
Well, I tell you what, we can cover this on another episode, because actually there are posts who in deregulated markets are actually doing quite well, but it involves a real change in mindset, looking at the USO from a different perspective. But anyway, that's not for today. Gary, as usual, super talking. I'm getting worried because we seem to be agreeing more than ever, and that's not a good thing, I think.
We've got to find a few more contentious subjects for the next run.
Thanks for watching this Last Mile Profits video. For more up-to-date last mile news and analysis, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn.